K-pop Demon Hunters is still taking the world by storm, and I have been made aware of a live performance of the hit song Golden. How very cool. I think we all want to see, or wanted to see, how they would do it live. It's not the easiest song to sing, that's for sure. I think the whole world was surprised with how high the belting essentially went in the chorus. Just in case you're not aware, here are the real life counterparts on the screen. This video just came out. I don't know when my video will come out because of copyright. Hopefully the wait won't be too long. It's from a performance of The Tonight Show. It's already amassed millions of views. Let's get straight into it.
Golden! Once again, EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami from K-pop Demon Hunters!
Just before it starts, one quick thing. I've done a video on the original song. Please, please, please. No, I won't beg, but please do watch that one if you haven't seen it yet. I dive into the music, I explain why the song is so catchy, I talk about the rhythms, the rhythmic changes, the harmonies, the structure, the melodies. I got loads of comments on that video telling me that no one else has spoken about the things I speak about. And I probably will not be repeating myself in this video because, well, I've already done a video on it that is available to you should you want to watch it. So yeah, if you haven't seen that one, do check it out. And now let's get into the live performance. We're in a different key, a little bit lower.
I was a ghost, I was alone. It's okay. Given the throne, I didn't know to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be.
Live two lives, try to play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place.
Got a problem, child, 'cause I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid. Get the on stage. I'm done.
Okay, I have immediately some thoughts which I'll quickly talk about before we continue. As I mentioned, we're performing a tiny bit lower, so unless there's a key change, which is possible later on, often in, well, not often, it depends on the song, but in live performances I've seen many where they implement a key change moving up towards the end of the song. Why? Well, moving up is like a sign of, you know, growth, or well, yeah, growth, happiness, that kind of thing. So if there is no key change, in the previous song, the wow moment where EJ goes right up to a top A, which is here. So the melody was... And that note, the A, that's the highest note your chorister would typically be expected to sing. In the current key though, instead of... At the end of the chorus, we would instead get... So it's still a G that she would go to, which is still insanely high. The fact that they're lower though, and when she starts singing,
I was a ghost, I was alone.
that's really low. For any woman, that is low. I mentioned this in my original video. Her melody alone, she has over 2 octaves. Her first note is here, and she should go down to there later on. So if the top note is here, 1 octave, 2 octave, and some. This low down entry, I can only imagine how nervous she is. All eyes of the world literally on you, live performance, so much pressure. And when you're singing low down as well, for a woman, again, I'm talking because their ranges are naturally higher than, for example, a bass, and you start with a very low entry, it's very easy to be shaky, you know, not supported, especially if there are some nerves. I mean, it's just power from her, even down there.
It's okay.
I think we can all agree it's quite... Well, it's really cool, quite strange, a bit weird seeing real people singing when we've seen the film. I have done a reaction to the whole film that's on my Patreon. I'll leave it in the linked comment down below. Loads of you have come over and seen that already. It's completely free to watch. So if you're interested in that as well, then please head on over and watch that with me. Quite a few of you said that you've seen the film 5, 6, 7 times. So yeah, let me know what you think of this, actually seeing them as real people. Then we get Ray Ami coming in and Audrey Nuna. And again, just watching them live makes it so much easier to differentiate between their timbres that they have when they sing, their timbres. They're very, very unique.
Live two lives, try to play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place.
I like how Ray Ami is very much switching between full chest voice and then much more of an airy sound, especially at the end of the phrase, implementing a bit more air, makes the vibrato much easier and quicker to come through.
Place.
Got a problem, child, 'cause I got too wild.
And her voice is probably the most distinct, very much at the front here, almost a bit nasally. I really like it though. I think it suits this melody perfectly. Chum, 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 repeated note. In my original video, I explained why that repeated note is very cool. In terms of the harmony, it's giving us some dissonance, and having this pure straight tone like she has gives the harmony a bit more conviction, I think. So yeah, let's carry on with this one. About to hit the chorus and the pre-chorus. What I will say so far is that they are showing absolutely no sign of nerves. Great confidence, courage. We'll hear some more of the song and then I'll talk about some other aspects of the performance.
Get up to on stage.
I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. We dreaming hard, we came so far, now I believe. We're going up, 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 it's our moment. You know together we're glowing, gonna be golden. Up, 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 and our voices. You wanna get just so warmly, gonna be golden. I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Oh, our time now feels no lies. That's who we're born to be.
Fair play. Fair play. A tiny bit lower, but I mean, that really does not matter. It's still incredibly high. She has absolutely nailed it, as much as is probably possible to nail it. Really, really cool. I won't go into it too much. Like I say, I've spoken about the song in my video on the original. The arrangement overall seems to be the same. There are some very subtle differences that come at the hands of the singers, which is natural from a live performance, and it's what you want to see, in my opinion, from a live performance, because it shows it's live. We've all seen live performances that we think are live, and they are not, and I will just tell you that as a fact. I've covered loads of live performances covering a variety of artists from different time periods on my channel, and there will always be discussions in the comments about if it is live or not. This is live. There are parts that aren't live, which I'll touch on in a bit. From where we carried on, the last line of Audrey Nuna's solo. Let's listen to it in the original.
Getting paid, good up to on stage.
That's the melody, just one note and then moving up and then the same note. When she sings it live,
That's how I'm getting paid. Get up to on stage.
moving up, bum, and then down into the middle for the repeated note. Very tiny change, but to me it's quite noticeable. As I mentioned when talking about the original song, the use of repeated notes, I think, are one thing that makes this song really catchy. So by using another note, she's removing the number of times a note is repeated, and Ray Ami did a similar thing a couple of times, changing how she was singing. Let's get onto the chorus though with EJ, the main talking point.
Get up to on stage.
I'm done hiding, now I'm shining.
The switch between her chest voice and her head voice, big talking point. We noticed it in the original. Here, what I really like about it is how much air is coming through when she switches to her head voice. She's not switching to the blended voice straight away. Typically, if we're thinking of voice types kind of chronologically or linearly, you start in your full voice, your chest voice, we move through, and then as elements of the head voice start to come in, it changes to a blended voice, and then the blended voice becomes the head voice for super high up. So typically, you know, very generally speaking, you'd expect high head voice, middle blended voice if a singer is able to use a blended voice, not everyone is, and then lower down chest voice. She's going chest voice to head voice, but then in the chorus later on is when the blended voice comes up above the head voice. What's the result of this? Well, we can decide for ourselves, but to me, it's a real contrast. Absolute power at the top with a blended voice. Having a lower down head voice like we get here,
I'm done hiding, now I'm shining.
so airy, it's almost fragile or weak.
We dreaming hard, we came so
Now,
far,
power.
I believe.
You can hear the blend there. And then when the actual chorus comes in, sorry, that was like the pre-chorus bit, it's just power. It's just power.
It's our moment. You know together we're glowing, gonna be golden. And our voices.
I'm going to quickly cover a point because it's always going to be contentious. It's just the nature of having a reaction channel. And that is that there is, I think, some auto-tuning or some sort of tuning going on in the background. Do I care? Absolutely not. Do I think it's a good thing in this case? Absolutely, I do. So before you go and maybe write a nasty comment about how there isn't any tuning because that's not in the moral spirit of live performance. So many in fact, most probably these days use technology that we now have available to us that we didn't 50, 60 years ago. The goal of a live performance is to make the best possible performance you can. There's always going to be the question of, oh, if we do something completely acoustically, no technology, then yeah, sure, you know, there's no denying that it's completely live, but the standard will never be as good, well, in 99% of cases, as a studio version where you have so much time to work and perfect every tiny detail. We can see they're singing live. We can hear it. There's no question about it. But when you have some backing voices, like the bit we just listened to, you can hear how many voices there are when none of them are singing. So there is a backing track. And they are singing the backing harmonies here, of course. I just think, you know, if you can, why not use it just in some backing harmony, give the sound a much fuller sound, a more powerful sound. You have EJ on the melody at the front, just absolutely smashing it. Yeah, I think it's a nice touch. Okay, let's carry on.
Break these walls down to wake up and feel like me. Put these patterns all in the past now and finally live like the girl they all see. No more hiding, I'll be shining like I'm born to be. 'Cause we are hunters, voices strong, and I know I believe we're
Wow. Wow, sorry, I will continue in a second, but it's just so good for a live performance. There's absolutely no sign of any nerves, anything like that. That's the moment of the song which is a little bit more vulnerable, right? Let's just think about what she's singing about, how the song is at that moment. Again, low down for her, soft, gentle. If ever there are going to be any voice shakes or tremors at any moment, it would be then. Nailed it. Wow. All right, let's carry on. And now we have the meter change back again. I like how Ray Ami moved there on the side. No one else did. Oh, a little bit before.
Come on, right there!
I don't think there's much more to say. Really solid live performance. I like how they kept the arrangement the same. Let's go back just to before the end. You can hear the whales in the background in the different voices as we get in the original song. They could have kind of removed them to make it seem more authentic, more just like we have 3 voices of 3 singers here. But no, they've chosen to keep it in, to keep this full sound there, even though we're hearing far more voices than there are people that we're seeing. It works. It just makes the performance far more full and far more energetic than it would if it was just those 3 voices without any backing voices. And that is a hill I will stand on. Very cool, great live performance all round. Once again, if you want to watch the film with me, then head on over to the link in the pinned comment. Also check out my other K-pop Demon Hunter song reactions that I have on YouTube. And if you made it this far, thank you so much. If you want to help the algorithm push my video to more people, then the best way is by leaving a like or a comment. If you don't want to comment any words, let's go for an emoji like a star or a flame that you see on the screen now. Every comment really does help. Thank you once again, and I will see you in the next one.